All right, I think it is time to get going. So, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. Today, the webinar will be DLC logo use and misuse, how to protect your project and incentives. We've got a lot to go through today, but before I get started, I wanted to let you know that the slides and the recorded webinar will both be posted on the DLC news and events page shortly after the presentation today. And if you haven't noticed already, all attendees have been automatically muted. But of course, we still want to hear from you. So we are going to hold a live Q&A session at the end of the presentation. And you can submit your questions at any time throughout the presentation using the question pane. And you see it there in the screenshot, the text bubble with a question mark underlined in green. And the question pane is distinct from the chat pane, which is those two text bubbles to the left of the question pane. We're not going to be using the chat pane during this webinar, so please use the question pane only. We're going to be answering questions through text if possible, but saving some of the more interesting ones for the live Q&A session. For those of you joining us for the first time, the Design Lights Consortium is an independent, nonprofit organization, and we provide decision makers with the data and resources on quality lighting controls and integrated building systems to fulfill their missions of reducing energy, carbon, and light pollution. And one of the most important ways that we do this is by interacting directly with our stakeholders. We do this through webinars like this one. We also have a lot of opportunities for committees and working groups that you can keep your eye open for. But very important is also taking the time to meet in person. And we do this through a semi-annual summit. This year, it is Next Gen Lighting, Controls, Integration, and the Environment. It's happening at the end of October, and we're holding it in beautiful Los Angeles, California. And I want to mention this today because the early bird pricing is almost over. It'll be expiring on July 31st. And at that point, the price of attendance will go up from $600 to $750. Here is a quick look at the summit agenda. So as you can see, the summit is centered around lighting controls, and each session will feature a panel of experts rather than a presentation, and we'll be discussing the challenges the industry faces while building incentive programs around controls. So we're going to take the time to talk about how to handle LED to LED retrofits, integrating building systems, building a framework for control programs through technical resource manuals, and also how to address both energy savings and light pollution. And then in the afternoon, we're going to end the day by rolling up our sleeves and applying what we've learned throughout the day to come up with some solutions that hopefully we can bring back to our colleagues. Before we get going to the webinar, a special thank you to our hosts, the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power. We would not be able to do this summit without them, so we are very appreciative. Here's a look at the agenda. Don't be too intimidated. There are a lot of sections, but it's pretty split up. They're all pretty short. I'm not going to go through this, but I'll draw your attention to the bottom where we have a live QPL demonstration right before the Q&A. So be sure to stick around till the end of the demonstration so we can see how to apply some of what we've learned. This webinar is based on a report that we published back in May. In the webinar, we have a little more chance to expand on some of these things. The report's designed to be a quick hit. And so hopefully by the end of this webinar, you'll have learned how to use the DLC logo correctly, how to identify unqualified products, how the DLC enforces its logo policy, some best practices for verifying qualification, and how to use some of the SSL's QPL's new features. Here's who you'll be hearing from today. There's myself, of course, Project Manager of Technical Development and QPL Integrity. And on Q&A, we have Casey Holland, the Senior Technical Manager. So if you see any answers in the question pane, that'll be coming from Casey. And I'm going to throw my contact details up here in case you have any questions. Feel free to reach out to me. So there's my personal one, and you can also feel free to use the logo inbox. So the logo enforcement that we do is part of a greater suite of policies that we have around holding up the QPL integrity. So we've got our logo and trademark use guidelines policy. We have our logo and trademark violation enforcement process. We also have surveillance policies for SSL, Luna, and HORT programs. And we also conduct product misrepresentation investigations. I want to let you know today that we're going to be combining these 4 areas into one umbrella policy called DLC QPL integrity policy. That will be coming later this year. I'll go over that, but I want to be clear that today the presentation is going to focus on aspects of the logo and trademark use policy, as well as the logo and trademark violation enforcement. Here's a quick look at that timeline. We are going to release the draft at the end of August, and there will be a draft release webinar. We're going to throw that link in the chat if you'd like to register. We're planning on only doing one draft of this because there's not a lot being changed. It's really just combining these policies. So if you have some feedback, please be sure to submit it during our 6-week public comment period. And the final version is going to be released in the beginning of 2027. All right, now let us talk about some logo use. So in this section, I'm going to go over the various DLC logos and trademarks and summarize how they should be applied. But to be clear, this isn't a replacement for reading the logo policy, which has a lot more nuances than we have time for today. Here is a look at all of our logos and trademarks. I'm going to go through these one by one. But also I wanted to mention that we retired these logos in 2022. I'm not sure how many people know that because we still see these in circulation. So I'm going to throw up a poll if you would be so kind to answer. I'm just interested to know how many people might have known this. So I see some answers coming in. Thank you very much. All right, looks like the room is split, so I'm glad you're attending this webinar. I think it's leveling off, so let's see. I'm going to share the results here. So it looks like there are a few people here in the audience that didn't know. So just so you know, that is a good sign if you see one of these logos that the product might not be still qualified. All right, let's go through the logos. First, there's the DLC program logo. And this is for use by DLC member programs and lighting testing laboratories. This is to illustrate a partnership with the DLC. It can also be used by manufacturers and distributors who are selling DLC listed products, but only with explicit permission. And that's because manufacturers and distributors should really be using our product logos. We have these 4 logos. Top left, that's the logo used for the SSL and NLC QPLs. Top right is the DLC Premium logo. That's for SSL premium products. And we have the Port and Luna product logos. So to be clear, I'm going to be using the SSL NLC product logo for most of the examples today, but everything I'm talking about applies to every logo. So in this section, I'm going to review why the logo violations harm DLC stakeholders, and also the various ways that a product might experience a change to its listing status. So the DLC mark isn't just someone who's paid to be on the QPL. It has a lot of meaning and weight behind it. So there are comprehensive performance and quality requirements that a product has to meet to be eligible to be on our QPLs. Here is a list that's likely not exhaustive, but I wanted to be sure to include some of the main areas of the different performance and quality areas: the efficacy, power quality, lifetime, spectral quality, distribution, controllability, and product applications. And also our reviewers that review applications to be on the QPL are doing this exhaustive review. They're looking at independent test reports, hundreds of product variations. They're looking at interactions between the requirements and the products. They're scouring spec sheets, They're reviewing warranty documents and also safety certifications. This rigorous review is why manufacturers list, and it's why programs require a DLC qualification. And when there is logo misuse, it creates some unfair competition for our listing manufacturers. The logo is a big selling point for lighting products and control systems. And because of that, listing manufacturers invest a lot of time and resources into getting that qualification. When someone misuses a logo and they get a sale without actually being qualified, that is essentially taking money out of the pockets of our listing manufacturers, and we take that very seriously. Efficiency programs, of course, also benefit from the DLC QPLs. We're going to take another poll here, wondering if you can guess what percentage of programs require listing on DLC QPLs. All right, getting some answers in. Looking on the high end. No wrong answers. I mean, there are 3 wrong answers, but you're not going to be in trouble. All right. So it looks like the results are centering around 96% and 75%. So we'll go to the answer now. Answer was 75% of energy efficiency programs across the United States and Canada rely on the QPLs. So thank you to those, I think there's 16 people who are saying it's 96%. We hope so someday. Now let's talk about some changes to listing statuses. So the most common change a product might experience is during a policy update if they choose not to update. So right now we're going through a major policy update going from SSL 5.1 to SSL version 6, Luna version 1 to Luna version 2. I'm sure the manufacturers in the room are well aware of this. I'll remind everyone of the timeline for this. October 9th is the last day to submit applications to make that update. And anyone who hasn't done that before that time will be delisted, have their products delisted on December 15th. And what that means is after December 15th, products should not display the QPL product logos. And we realized that a lot of programs intend to give grace periods for products that didn't update to not cause a big interruption in supply chains. But just to be clear, that spec sheets should not be displaying the DLC logo after that point. Change to a listing status product my experience is a change in classification going from DLC premium to DLC standard. So similarly, a product that was premium in 5.1 might still meet the technical requirements of version 6, but they're no longer qualifying for premium. Here's a quick look at the different areas that have enhanced requirements for premium. The biggest change in version 6 is in the controllability arena. So now that any product that wants to qualify for SSL Premium must have some level of controllability. And again, we know that there's going to be grace period to display the version history. When something moves between classifications, you will be able to see the history of that, which should help with administering programs. There could also be some issues with products post-qualification. For example, you might be familiar with our surveillance testing program. This is something that applies to SSL, Luna, and Hort. Send products back for some additional testing, and product still meets the technical requirements. But also, even if it meets the technical requirements, we want to be sure that the product performance and the features haven't shifted significantly since the initial qualification, which might signify that it's, for all intents and purposes, a different product. We also do product misrepresentation investigations. This applies to all of our programs, including NLC. And what we look for here, or rather when we get reports about product misrepresentation, it might be because there are features that should be associated with a model number that are not present in practice. Maybe product claims features that aren't represented on the QPL, or simply that performance isn't in line with QPL testing. So one outcome of product misrepresentation might be that it is nominated for surveillance testing, put through that new testing. Finally, we're going to talk about products that are renewed or not renewed. So manufacturers are, of course, permitted to voluntarily delist any products when they're discontinued, uh, but it doesn't always happen, and so there's also annual renewals. NLC has always required an annual renewal, and another new feature of SSL 6 and Luna 2 is that we're now going to require annual renewals. So a product that's been discontinued probably isn't going to be renewed, and so in that way, it will help us clean up the list. So this presentation is designed to provide tips to all segments of the lighting industry, but today we're really going to mostly focus on manufacturers. And that's because manufacturer specification sheets are the first way that customers typically interact with a product. And those customers may assume that a DLC logo assures DLC qualification. And so when a product is assumed but falsely qualified, it has impacts all the way down the value chain of the industry. If that product that was falsely claiming qualification gets to an efficiency program, that's time and money lost for all sorts of people along the value chain. And since there are many, many reasons for changes to listing status, that means the documentation that you have in your hand might not always be the most up to date. Although the logo on the spec sheet is a good starting place, finding the product on the QPL is really the only way to confirm eligibility, and we're going to certainly go more into that. First, I'm going to take a quick stop to talk about the relationship between DLC qualification and safety certifications. To be clear, DLC is not a certification body. The right words to use around us are DLC qualified, DLC qualification, DLC listed. The term certification is more appropriately used when it refers to a process that has to happen before a product can be sold. And DLC qualification does confirm the presence of a safety certification, but it's not a requirement for a product to be purchased initially. It's an optional qualification, and the consequences for misusing the DLC logo only come from the DLC. We're not a governmental body, so it doesn't affect anyone's ability to continue to sell that product. So the documents that DLC reviewers take a look at are different by country, but to go over this in the USA, OSHA certifies Intertech and UL laboratories, and so we'll be reviewing authorization to marks, certificates of compliance, or notices of authorization. In Canada, the SCC certifies CSA labs to provide a certificate of compliance, so we'll look at that as well as applicable. Now let us take a look at some of the common forms of misuse on product specification sheets. And again, I'm focusing on the SSL product logo, but it applies to everything. Perhaps a no-brainer, but it's worth saying, when a logo appears on a non-listed products specification sheet, that is a logo violation. Only DLC listed products that are currently on the QPL can display those logos. Another no-brainer, but I want to make sure it's said, is when an old product logo is used. So this is a good sign that perhaps the product has not updated to our latest requirements since we made that change about 4 years ago. And so we do require that all products are using only the current logos. Another way you could have a violation is when you use the program logo instead of the product logo on a product. So be sure that specification sheets are only using those product logos. So those ones are all fairly straightforward. Next one's a little more nuanced. So a specification sheet might contain a mix of qualified and unqualified products. And so if the specification sheet indicates that all products are DLC qualified, that is a logo violation. We don't require that manufacturers identify exactly which variations aren't qualified, but we do require that the spec sheet says that not all variations are qualified. The next couple examples I'm going to lead into with a poll to see where people's understanding is before I tell you the answers. So wondering when DLC qualification is transferable to other brands. All right, getting some answers in. Thank you, everyone. Seems like we're coalescing around never. Got a few answers for the other ones. All right, might have all that we're going to get. Oh, we just jumped up. Thank you. People are taking their time to really consider it, or maybe they're checking our policies. All right, so we'll take a look at these next slides. Separate brands require separate DLC qualifications. For example, an OEM's brand holds a DLC qualification if, or brand one holds a DLC qualification. If they're selling us another brand with those same products that does not hold its own DLC qualification, that's a logo violation. Each brand must hold its own DLC qualification. Similarly, private label products each have to hold their own DLC qualification. So even if a private label product is selling the same exact fixture as the OEM, the qualification does not transfer over. And this is one of the main ways we see logo violations from very well-meaning manufacturers. So I thought it was very worth pointing out. All right, let us talk about how we go about enforcing logo violations. The most common outcome of a logo violation process is that the marketing materials simply have to be modified. So on the left, we have an example of someone who is DLC listed using the wrong logo. They simply have to update to the correct logo. If there's on the right, we're seeing a non-DLC listed violator that has a product logo that they simply have to remove it from their marketing materials. We're also, we might, well, not might, we're definitely willing to help out with an application for a product that is not currently listed. So there are 3 pathways here: a new product application. This would be for an OEM who's currently not listed; an update application where you can do, among other things, you can add brands and add products to families; and then the private label application, a separate pathway for someone who wants to list products that are already on the QPL through their OEM. And here we're going to talk about some very rare cases where we might take punitive action against our listing manufacturers. That's something we really try to avoid. But if we really can't reach a resolution on a logo violation, we do have the option to delist products from our QPL. I haven't seen this personally, but it is an option that we have. We might also suspend the company from applying for DLC qualification. Again, this is very rare. This one can actually apply to listed manufacturers and non-listed manufacturers. So this is, just in very extreme cases. And also we can put pending applications on hold until we get the matter resolved. For non-listed manufacturers where we can't reach a resolution, we also have a public notification page. We're going to throw the link in the chat here. This is something you can review to see when a manufacturer who maybe isn't listed at all or has several products that aren't listed has a logo violation out there. More recently, we have been reporting and permanently removing Amazon listings, which is this is for use on products that have no presence on the QPL manufacturer we don't have a relationship with. So as you can see in this screenshot, in the title and the description, this product is claiming DLC qualification. You click on the storefront, and you can see that not only do they have an old logo that's been retired, but they have the incorrect logo. That's an old program logo. So that's a really good sign that this product probably isn't on the QPL, and it can signal that you should probably go check the qualification status. So we've been navigating the lovely Amazon bureaucracy for a short period of time here, but I'm happy to report that we've been able to remove 211 listings and also corrected 306 more, meaning we were able to reach a resolution with the manufacturer. And you can help enforce DLC logo compliance. We have logo misuse reporting and or surveillance testing nomination form. So look for this link in the chat, and please let us know if you see something. All right, we're almost at the time for the live QPL demonstration. But before we do so, I want to go over some of the best practices for various stakeholders to verify qualification. First, we'll take manufacturers. So you can be sure to communicate to your private labelers that they are required to obtain their own DLC qualification. Make sure you're not leaving them out to dry. And also be sure that the model numbers that you market align exactly with the model numbers on the QPL to clear up any confusion. And you don't have to indicate exactly which variations are qualified, but it would be a big help if you did and indicate right on your spec sheet which ones have the DLC qualification, if there is a mix. Of course, be sure to use only the official and current DLC logo files. And if you can include the DLC product IDs on your spec sheet, that takes a whole lot of the guesswork out of it for anyone confirming qualification. Let's talk about distributors. So you should definitely verify DLC qualification before you sell or purchase products, if that's important to you. When you're in doubt, request DLC product IDs. Similarly to manufacturers, it's a big help if you identify which variations in your inventory are qualified. And to clear up any OEM private label confusion, please display the both manufacturer and brand name to prevent some false claims. Efficiency programs are a stakeholder using the QPL the most. So you should request the DLC product ID when reviewing incentive submissions, so there's no confusion. Most likely you already do, but if you're not, that is a good tip. And of course, don't rely solely on DLC logo, and be sure to verify this qualification status through the QPL itself. And you can avoid custom reviews of non-DLC listed products by being sure you educate trade allies about verifying qualification before purchase. So, it's always a drag when something gets through an incentive process and you find out that there was a misunderstanding. So if the trade allies know to verify before, that helps everyone out. Specifiers and purchasers. Very simply, make sure you're reviewing the status before you're purchasing, and request the product IDs from manufacturers to be absolutely sure. All right, I'm going to switch gears here, get up a different screen, and move into our live QPL demonstration. So just a moment, bear with me. I hope those questions are coming in. Feel free to keep them coming, and we'll take what we can at the end of the presentation. Okay. Let's look at the screen here. All right. I have the QPL and some spec sheets up. I'll go through a few examples. Lovely. Thank you for logging me in. It's, I think, extra slow because of what I'm doing right now. Let's delete this out. So we're going to go through a few examples based on user types and how you might use the QPL. So first of all, let's take another look at that that brand we looked at during the presentation, LED Fantasy. Can click on the storefront here. This is where we saw the wrong logo. And just waiting for that to load. Here we go. So you see here is the clue that maybe you should give an extra check. Here is where understanding the difference between the search bar and the filters can really come in handy. The search bar, as you can see written here, is for searching by model, manufacturer, brand, product ID, or family ID. You can constrain it to just one of those. But to be clear, everything doesn't mean that you're searching by any category. If you searched, let's say like high bay LED fantasy. All right, here we go. You got some results, but it just so happens that high bay is in the model number, but it's not the right manufacturer at all. So the way to cleanly identify whether you're looking at a manufacturer that's on our list is you go over to the filters on the left-hand side and take a look at manufacturer and brand. I'm going to type in LED Fantasy, and you can see it's not there. The list does react as you're typing, so get to a certain point and you see it's not returning anything. So that is a pretty clear sign that this product would not be eligible for an incentive. Another thing that a specifier might check is if they have it. So I'm opening up a spec sheet here, chosen at random, so don't be jealous. And so let's say I had a full complete model number. Now it's down here somewhere. Well, of course this happens on air, but here is my model number that I'm going to paste in. Oh, I just had it flipped. Here we go. So we can see we have a full complete model number. We're going to find it on the spec sheet. Here we go. So we pasted in this full complete model number. And in the search results, you'll see that when we search by this model number, there's now a confidence match that the QPL displays. And we're getting a 100% match, which is ideal. You don't have to have a 100% match to confirm that the product is DLC qualified, but it's a good indication that you have the exact correct model number. We also have a picture of the product. The picture does not have to be identical to the product on the specification sheet, but it is oh, I can see I flipped that. Oh well, but it is a help to identify that. And we also have the specification sheets. So if you download this, I already have it downloaded, but it would bring up that same specification sheet, which is a big help. All right. Next, we're going to look at what a distributor might do when they're faced with a product that has some variations. So this is the example I meant to use before. So here's this product. You can see that it has some blanks in the model number, signifying multiple options. So I'm going to paste this in to the search bar here, and we'll see how it affects the confidence meter. So brings up a couple of different results, and I found down here a 75% match, which is it's a good sign. I can see that the model number looks the same, but I want to be sure that I understand whether the specific variations that I'm carrying are qualified. So I can see these blanks appear at the end of the model number under the controls options. So I'm going to open up this product listing, and I'm going to look at the controls options. And I can see here, right on the product display, that the same controls options on the QPL are here on the spec sheet. So we know that any control options that you purchase from this manufacturer are going to be eligible for incentives, or at least list GLC qualified. And I should also note that here under this third variation is a link to this system's compatible network lighting control system. So what I just brought up is a page from our NLC QPL. So that is a convenient shortcut to understanding what control systems might work with a product. All right. Now let's take a look at what might happen to an incentive reviewer if you get a model number that is incomplete or wrong, but it might be associated with a product that should be qualified. So this, I pasted into the search bar here, the model number that we received from the incentive applicant. And I'm looking through the results, and I don't love these matches. They're not completely off, but there are so many different options that it's not ideal. I don't want to have to do the work of going through the manufacturer's spec sheet and figuring out what variation. I can see that right off the bat, the place where the wattage is supposed to be wasn't included in what the incentive applicant provided. So really, I can't tell what they're applying for. So the right thing to do in this case is to go back to the incentive applicant and ask for the product ID. Once you paste the product ID in, it's very, very simple. You can see exactly which product that applicant is applying for. And finally, I'm going to take a look at what we might have in one of these product label situations or private label situations. So here is a product listed on Amazon. You are an incentive reviewer in this case. You get a model number that I'm pasting here into the search bar, and it doesn't match so well. You can see that the manufacturer you're looking for is Yowlite. This manufacturer is not at all similar. The match percentages are terrible. And so you say, hey, I'm not finding it on the QPL. And this is a made-up situation, but in this case, the applicant says, oh, well, it's a private label of this product by Atlas Lighting. So now if you know the requirements for the relationship between OEMs and private labelers, you can see that this does have an OEM listing, but the private labeler is not listed. And the reason why that's important is because how do you know that there's a business relationship between these two entities? And the DLC reviewers would have taken a look at that, and that is why it's on the QPL. So those were the examples I wanted to go through, and now I'm happy to take some questions and answers.
All right, thanks, Andrew. Couple questions on deck for you here. The first question is, how do we distinguish between versions approvals for the same logo design? So if you see the same logo that you mentioned being changed 4 years ago, how do you know if it's for version 5.1 or version 6, for example?
Oh, okay. Well, so it's we're not changing the logos between versions for every version. we just made that update as we went through a rebranding process in 2022. So from here on out, those will be the correct logos to use. You don't have to update the logo for updating to version 6.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, another question for you here. Could you quickly revisit the reason between saying qualified, listed, or certified?
Yeah. Let me pull up that slide again for everyone. Let's see. So I mean, it's really about understanding what the DLC logo means. So on storefronts you might see DLC associated with you know UL or Intertech or something like that, and it provides some sort of false equivalency. The product needs to have UL certification to be able to be sold. It does not need a DLC. Sorry, it needs to have a UL certification to be sold. It does not need a DLC qualification to be sold. That's an optional choice of the manufacturer if they want to be eligible for incentives in 75% of the efficiency programs. I think hopefully that should answer.
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next question for you. How can I tell you about a product that isn't qualified or I'm not finding on the QPL, but it says that it is?
All right, thank you for asking. That's so kind of you. I'm going to go back to this slide with the logo compliance form, their logo misuse reporting form. So the link should have been shared in the chat. Maybe we can share it again for this person. But this is the easiest way to do it. I also threw my contact information up there earlier, and you're welcome to contact me directly.
Thank you. All right, I searched for my company name and a product on the QPL that I know I had listed, and I didn't find it. What can I do about that?
Well, I think that would take a little investigation, but you could definitely contact me directly and make sure that whoever asked this question I reach out to after. But reasons for that might be you were selected for surveillance testing and didn't pass. But other than that, I can't really guess without seeing the exact situation.
Thank you. That makes sense. All right, a new one came in here. Says, in the update from DLC Premium 5.1 to 6.0, does the DLC Premium logo now become outdated and it should say DLC listed? Sorry, this is a bit of a weirdly worded question. Or should they use both the DLC Standard and DLC Premium logo if they were Premium under 5.1 and are Standard under 6?
All right, well, here's a look at the logos again. So if Casey just confirmed they're talking about going from premium in 5.1 to standard in 6.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. So this is the answer is that they should only be using the standard logo, the one DLC listed. Actually, there's a better slide to show on this. Bring that up. It's this one. And that's because you can only, although you meet the requirements of standard if you're premium listed, you don't meet the requirements of premium if you're listed as standard. So once that changes, you shouldn't be using the logo. But perhaps you're asking about currently during this transition period. As we can see in this screenshot where I have a product that is eligible for both, you would just use the premium logo in that case. You're not communicating anything more by giving just the standard logo. But after December 15th, you should be sure that you only use the standard logo.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, I have another question that came in. Someone's confused about an older logo on a manufacturer's datasheet. When they search the QPL, it is listed as SSL version 5.1 standard, but it's still using the old logo. If they aren't updating the old logo on their datasheet, will they be disqualified?
No, they're not disqualified, but the reason why we want them to use the current logos is because it brings products under suspicion, and it's our brand as well. We want to be sure that people are putting our correct brand image forward. But as you can see on those Amazon listings, it's very common for non-listed products to have grabbed like a logo at some point in the past, and they're still using it. So we want to try to make it as clear as possible. When we did update and when a manufacturer lists, they receive instructions and the files on how to do that. So that's why an old logo is perhaps an indication that they didn't get that information because they haven't updated.
And just to follow up on that, how would a manufacturer who may have gotten the newer logo in the past but missed the email go about getting the new logo to make these updates now?
So we have a way to give that to you, and so you can reach out to us directly. Feel free to reach out to me. You can also reach out to the main info@designlights box, but reach out to us in some way, and we'll be sure to get that to you.
All right, thank you. And then the last one that we just got here is the standard question of will the webinar or a summary or recording be available?
It certainly will. I got a slide for that for you all. It is the last slide here, but if you go to designlights.org, news and events, and then it should be under on-demand webinars. So any more questions?
It looks like there aren't any other questions at this point.
Well, I'm proud to have given such a comprehensive presentation. If there's nothing else, then I think we can call it. I appreciate everyone coming. I hope you learned something. We've got a survey that will go out after we end the call. Please answer it, and that will help us out very much. Have a nice day, everyone.